Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games, and I'm joined by.
Joshua Weyers all the way in South Africa.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've done our podcast, but I think we both were busy with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, like our building got fumigated, so we had to.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we had to like take out, like move a bunch of stuff out of the place, so that it wouldn't get fumigated. Like food, clothes,
You
also
got any
like expensive
pets?
gear.
If you have any pets, I'd
They
imagine.
said, yeah, they said pets and plants. I don't have a pet currently. I didn't have any plants to move, but then I, had to move like all my gear and stuff away, so that it wouldn't be here for 48 hours.
Yeah. And I had root canal
Unsupervised.
yesterday.
Yes, you did, and that's why we were going to shoot yesterday, and you had a root canal. I've had one of those.
Yeah.
Not fun.
The worst part about it, Dennis, is that they still have to finish it next week.
Mm,
It's like not even done, the root canal. It's not even finished. That's the worst part. But
that
hey,
sucks.
at least it's getting done.
Yeah. And then for me, like coming back from the fumigation, it's not like, oh, just come back and everything's fine. It's like, oh, we had to like wash, and we're still doing it, washing like every
Mm.
piece of clothing, bed sheets. I think the worst is like all the dishes that we have. Like we have a lot of like bowls,
Oh, I feel
dishes,
you. That's
cups.
that's the worst with fumigation as well, because you got to take all the dishes out. You got to leave the cupboards empty and things like
Yeah.
that. I know what you mean. It's
So,
frustrating.
so yeah, I didn't get to play as much games as I wanted the past couple of weeks, but I did play some. So we'll talk about that. All right, let's get to our first topic. Ghost of Tsushima, the Director's Edition, came out last Friday. I downloaded it, but I didn't get a chance to play it yet. That's why I was mentioning all that stuff. Like, normally I would have played it by now. Looking at the reviews and whatnot, it's pretty positive. It's basically, if you like the game, then you'll like the extra DLC content because it's just a whole. It's like a smaller, separate island, and you have a storyline, and you do kind of the same things, and you can get new gear and all that stuff. So it's like new characters and whatnot. So it's like a mini version of what you've already played. And if you liked it, you'll like this. And so I'm gonna get to it this week and play it. But it just it seems like more of the same, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I like this. When they first announced this, I thought of the Fallout 4 when they added a whole extra island to Fallout 4, and it works out quite well because that's all you really want is more content for the game. You know what I mean? And getting an extra island, getting a whole new place to explore, that's awesome. Apparently, it's got a whole bunch of more like new Easter eggs for you to explore. So there's going to be a bunch of Easter eggs out there. Um, the expansion is available to you, I believe, after you don't have to finish the game. You can obviously finish the game and go back, but yeah, Act
It's,
Two.
yeah, Act Two.
You'll need to progress to at least Act Two, and then once you've done that, you can go check it out. But yeah, it's a beautiful game. If people
Yeah.
haven't played it yet, definitely check it out. You can do the DLC halfway through, which is cool, or you can finish it out. It's a beautiful game, and it just got more content, which is nice, you know.
Yeah, and also, especially for people who have like a PS5, you have the upgraded graphics for the PS5, the haptic feedback for the controls.
Ooh, that must
Uh,
be quite nice.
yeah, it's like like if you're riding the horse, you get that haptic feedback on there. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, especially if you've never played it. It's totally worth getting. And then upgrading it, $20, not too bad. Whole separate Iki Island to explore and check that out. So yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. We have all these kind of director's cuts, and we talked about it before. Director's additions to games and whatnot. But this is a game that I really enjoyed. One of my favorite games of last year. So having more of that in the meantime before we get a sequel, because we're not gonna get a sequel for another what two
At
three
least 30.
years,
Yeah, at
2 to
least
3
3
years.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. Then might as well.
That's
enjoy
beautiful.
something new.
Also, definitely well worth the upgrade if you have a PS5 or if you have anything next gen. Definitely worth the upgrade. You know,
For the
I think it's
PS5
gonna.
version too, they do the lip sync
Yeah,
for the Japanese language.
which would be super useful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that the first time I played it that it was the lip syncing wasn't there for the Japanese dub because they originally did the English and not the
Yeah, I
Japanese.
can't. I couldn't play it in English, which is weird to say. You know, I just
Yeah,
couldn't.
I played it like half and half. I played it mainly in English though because the after a while the lip syncing was annoying me.
Uh,
So I just went with the English dub, and the dub's not that bad. But yeah, ah, mind you, by the time this game comes to PC, it'll have I'm sure it'll have all those features.
yes, yes, and we will talk about that in a little bit about the whole Epic and PlayStation kind of behind the
Yeah.
scenes thing. Another thing that kind of came out is a new. It's not even a trailer. It's like I guess gameplay. It's basically showing off that Blackmyth Wukong is they moved it to the Unreal 5 engine, which is, you know, that's not an easy, thing to do. There's always complications, even,
Oh yeah, no, it's super. I mean, even I think I could be wrong about this, but I believe um, Rocket League is trying to move over to Unreal Engine 5, and they said that it's a long-term goal. Like it's not like something that can just happen
yeah.
like pretty quickly, you know, especially with a game that's already existing. Um, but yeah, it looks great. The thing I'm happy about is it hasn't been that long ago since we first heard about the Black Myth Wukong,
Hmm.
and now we get to see a bit more of it, and it's staying relevant. That's the most important thing here. The game is staying relevant. It is keeping traction, which is important because uh, in order for the game to do well, it needs to keep that traction. You know, keep the importance. Because there's always new games coming out every single week. You know, it's very easy to forget about this kind of game in like a couple months if you haven't seen a video. So I'm very happy to have. It just looks so good. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I
And
still
it's
can't
from
believe how
a small
small the team
studio.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a small team of people. Like it's insane. But it's coming together, which also leads me to believe that we're gonna get the game a lot sooner than I was expecting. Still not like soon, you know, but I was thinking this game was gonna be at least like another 2 or 3 years off.
Hmm.
But I don't think that that's gonna be the case. I think maybe we see it end of next year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, technically, it's only for PC, but I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that they are. And remember when this thing became really popular, we're like, dude, Microsoft or Sony should swoop in there and like buy this company and make this an exclusive for either platform. I'm not saying that's good for the consumer. I'm just saying as a business move, that would be a
Yeah.
cool thing, smart thing to do. And
It'd
then
be
make it.
smart for Sony to do, man, just so that they can have some more games on PlayStation on the
Mhm.
PS5, you know?
Yeah. But right now it's PC for sure, and then we'll see about the other. I assume if they don't get bought by either company, it probably just end up on both systems. But if they're
Yeah.
jumping to Unreal 5, maybe they're aiming for this
I
next
think it's
gen
I
console.
think it's a distribution thing as well. Like obviously they're a small team. Getting
Yeah,
distribution is difficult. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Getting your game distributed on PC is a lot easier than console. Um, you've seen it with, for instance, like a great game like Hades. You know,
hmm,
there's no reason that Hades should have taken that long to come out on console. I'm sure the reason being were because of legal deals. You know what I mean?
hmm.
Dealing with getting it onto console and dealing with distribution deals and stuff like that. Uh, so most likely, yeah, it will come to console, like you said, eventually. But it has to sell well and do well on PC first.
Yeah. Speaking of this 12-minute trailer, it looks great. Graphics look great.
It does. It looks
This
so good.
When he's running through the snow, it's like the effects on the snow look fantastic. I love these little mini bosses. I assume they're mini bosses because they just happen so often in the previous footage that we've
Yeah.
seen and in other ones where it's like someone
No, I
comes
think they're mini
fighting.
bosses. I think they have like their main bosses, like they're taking on the this like snow dragon thing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so sick.
Yeah. The Snowdragon looks
Which is
awesome.
probably like so it's like a bigger boss fight, but you get your mini bosses along the way.
Yeah, the Snowdragon looks like a
Oh,
main boss, and you get some mini bosses. I think we saw another. Which one was it? There was one where he was inside the courtyard and he was fighting. It was in a previous trailer. But anyways, yeah, like the way.
yeah, he was fighting another. I know what you mean. Yeah, you mean the creature or the other version of himself?
The creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looked cool. The way it was gripping onto like the roofs of the
Yeah.
building, the way the way it interacted with the building, and they clashed and stuff. That was really impressive. The team has grown since that last video, I believe,
Yeah.
but it's still a
Sure.
relatively small team.
They got
Ah,
it.
man, I'm just glad. I'm glad that this is. I'm glad we're talking about this, and it's not something that we like. It's not something that like got forgotten in time, and like a year from now when they release it, nobody buys it because nobody's talking about it. I hope that every couple of weeks they, or at least every couple of months, they give us something to look at. And this already looks great.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is story. Because they haven't they haven't spoken about story. They haven't shown us anything story wise. But the combat. Look, it's I'm already sold. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
buy it because I'm gonna buy it and play the game just purely basis of how good the gameplay is. The gameplay looks so good. Uh, I mean, they must be working on some kind of story because even in the last couple of seconds of this video, you can kind of see
Mhm.
um, the him limping away, and it's like it looks like it's narrative based, but maybe
Mhm.
there's no cut scenes, but there's like narrative storytelling in a different way. I'm not too sure. Well, there's also like we've spoken about it before. There's so many stories of Wukong,
Yeah.
of the Monkey King. Like which iterations could they go with? Maybe they go with all of them because we saw different versions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In earlier gameplay trailers, we saw different versions of the Monkey King. So who knows?
It's crazy.
Um,
Yeah. This thing
it
is.
looks so good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Next thing up, we've got the Gamescom 2021, the Xbox stream. Not a huge announcements or anything like that, or huge reveals, but it was just more of going in depth with a few different titles. It was different than, let's say, like the E3 showcase, where it's like game after game after game of reveals. That was like an hour and a half of just game reveals. This one was like they'd show like a trailer, and then they would interview someone, and they would talk about the game itself, and then they would toss to some footage. It was just kind of more in depth with each one. I mean, the big one obviously was Forza Horizon 5, showing off that like cool Ford Bronco, the Ford Bronco Badlands, that yellow truck, or not truck, is it a Jeep? What would you call that?
The Bronco,
Yeah.
it's like a Jeep truck.
Yeah. Jeep.
That is actually like that's how do you describe it? Yeah, I guess it's more like a truck. It's
Yeah.
just like a smaller truck, you know?
And they showed off the Mercedes AMG 1. The graphics look fantastic in this game. Like I said, car driving games aren't my
Mm,
type of game, but this looks very
it looks
cool.
good.
And people talked about, in one of the footage they showed like the Ford Bronco being like parachuted from a cargo plane, and like landing on top of like of active volcano, and like you just kind of driving through that. So looked.
Well, they also said we're getting xCloud on Xbox Series X and S,
Yeah.
and Xbox One, the holiday 2021. So end of this year, cloud gaming will be here, which is well, granted, if your internet connection is up for it, that is,
Yeah.
and where you're staying. But yeah, cloud gaming is here. They also showed off. I mean, you know me, I love my roguelites. They showed off
Mhm.
this game called Into the Pit, which looked quite fun. I just love playing any roguelike kind of games,
Mhm.
so that looked cool. And then yeah, Age of Empires 4. They spoke a bit about that as well, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Dying Light 2 had a new gameplay trailer. I never really played the first one. It's an interesting take of it, like this first person parkour.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're gonna take Assassin's Creed and like make it first person and set it in a apocalyptic zombie wasteland, So, um, Did you ever play the first one?
Oh,
Hello? I think you skipped there for a second. I said,
oh, there we
did you play
go.
the first Dying Light?
I did play the first Dying Light when it came out. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the parkour. I'm not good with scary games or
Mm-hmm.
games that are like set in that kind of scary setting, unless I'm with friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember playing Dying Light 1. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody I knew who played it, like they're a diehard fan of that
Mm-hmm.
game, and they love that game. So
Oh, and then I guess this is one we're going to talk about as well. Is Psychonauts 2? They showed off
yeah, coming
launch
up
trailer.
soon as well.
Oh,
Any
very
what?
soon. It's
I think 3 days from
tomorrow.
now.
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, wow.
Tomorrow.
I know what I'm doing.
So yeah,
I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually I'm gonna have to look at a video to recap me on the first game.
hmm that trailer came out. Wasteland 3 has a DLC called Cult of the Holy Detonation that came out, or is actually coming out October 5th, 2021. Sea of Thieves releasing a Borderlands theme Mayhem
Mhm.
ship set.
Also, speaking of Sea of Thieves, real quick, I believe last week. Yeah, I think last week they hit their highest player base ever since launch.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
congrats to them.
that whole they had like a huge
Jack
surge
Sparrow
with
thing.
the Jack Sparrow
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean thing. It brought a bunch of old players back and new players in, and then they started staying. It's
And it was good. It was fun because it was integrated into the main game itself. It was its own thing, but it was integrated so well into the main game it was a good way to like pull new players into the game, if that makes sense.
yeah. Um, and then you had Gunk had a gameplay trailer
Yeah.
as well.
I hadn't heard about that before until then.
Yeah. I had heard about it, but I didn't know much about it. It looks like a kind of a third-person action platformer.
Mm.
So yeah, some stuff coming out of Gamescom. No like Perfect Dark or
No
Fable.
That's all I wanted, man.
Yeah,
I even said it like a week and a half ago. I was like, I bet they're gonna bring up Fable. They'd be stupid not to at least mention it again. Nope, nothing. Not a thing.
So there's kind of some unfortunate news coming out of Microsoft for Halo Infinite, which is
Yeah.
they are delaying the campaign co-op in Forge for Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite's still going to launch whenever they're planning. They still haven't given an exact release date, but I think rumors are November. But when it launches, they're not going to have the co-op single player, and they're not going to have Forge, which is where you can build your own maps and types of games. I guess personally, I'm more bummed about the campaign co-op, so I can't co-op the campaign because that's one of the biggest draws, especially in when I played the first game. Like having the co-op campaign was kind of not essential, but like one of the like high points of that
Well,
game.
I was gonna say the whole couch co-op thing is just great with Halo. Split screen co-op.
Yeah, so no campaign co-op, but I mean this is like including through online as well. You still can't you can't do a co-op. And Forge,
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess they're more focused on their multiplayer,
Yes.
Which, to be fair, they are planning for their multiplayer to be very like long-lived, if you will. I don't know if it's going to be games as a service, but I can see them going that route with their multiplayer.
yeah.
Uh,
Forge, for me, not that big a deal because I never really used it to build custom maps and custom games and
But
whatnot.
nobody uses it on day one anyways, if you think about it. Like, nobody's going to be making their custom maps on the day that it launches, Maybe a couple people, but, like, not enough people to be upset,
Yeah, yeah. But the campaign co-op, though,
that's going to suck.
Something I was looking forward
That's
to.
what got me into Halo, man.
Yeah,
Like, 100%. I never would have played Halo if it wasn't for my old college roommate being like, "You've never played Halo? It has co-op." And then we sat down on the couch and we played the game. And I never would have gotten into Halo if it wasn't for the the accessibility of just being able to play with a friend, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It was actually the co-op that got me into the game that actually got me to buy an Xbox. I actually worked a Universal Studios event, and it was a Microsoft event, but it took place at the not Universal Studios, but Universal City Walk, and it was like this, I don't know, 48-hour like where they just had all these Xboxes that people lined up to play. This is like the first Xbox launch, right? So no one had ever played this system before or knew anything about what the Xbox was going to be, but their flagship title was Halo. And, you know, I heard of it, but I didn't really understand like what the appeal was until I started playing it. And I was like, oh, you can play co-op campaign with someone else, you know? I don't know if it would have hooked me if it was just solo play, but playing campaign and like hopping on the Warthog and you driving and a friend shooting, you know, off the back of a Warthog.
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
pretty,
the stuff, man.
It's pretty awesome. And then, you know, then obviously I played the campaign co-op with friends, and then after that you get hooked on the multiplayer. So it was definitely a huge thing to introduce people to the franchise. And so the fact that it's not going to be ready at launch is kind of disappointing. I mean,
the question is how long as well. Like if it's a week, I don't think people are going to be that bummed out if it's a week. But if it's going to be a month, then yeah, people are pissed. Anything more than that.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be more than a week. I don't know about more than a month, but I think it's going to be more than a week.
Yeah, most likely more than a month. Yeah. I think it's going to be like a month and a half kind of thing. They can't leave it for longer than that, you know. But if they're not doing it on launch, then there's got to be some serious bugs. You know, there's got to be some serious things happening if it's not happening on launch.
I'm also very interested in the fact that the campaign is non-linear. Now, I don't know if this will work or not for Halo because we haven't seen it yet, but it's the first time they're taking a kind of a more open world approach where you can tackle certain things in certain orders. In your own order, so maybe that's kind of what's been complicating the co-op stuff. Because remember, the co-op before was like, okay, you two are taking the same path. Yes, you can stray from each other, but you're relatively kind of going in the same direction. Yeah. You know, maybe the fact that it is open world is kind of making it a little more difficult because it's like you have to go to different areas, or you don't have to, but if you choose to, like, hey, you go here, I'll go here, etc., I'll meet up with you somewhere else.
Well, for one, it's going to limit local co-op in terms of like you're not going to be able to go on opposite sides of these giant, like big scale areas. You know what I mean? The console won't be able to handle that. I mean, obviously, if you're online on your separate consoles or separate PCs, it's not going to be an issue. Well, I think it'll be entities, like an issue of like entities not working out too well with the co-op. You know what I mean? Maybe it was something like, once again, they obviously focused on the single player campaign more, and they focused on the multiplayer more, and then co-op was something that they kind of left for last. Which, to be fair, obviously, like not on the biggest list of priorities. You want to make sure that your single player works. You want to make sure your multiplayer works. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't take them longer to patch it out than a month. Anything after a month, and that's going to affect their sales, you know, because obviously it'll boost sales if people know that they can play it with a friend, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can buy the game and invite a friend over, you're more likely to buy the game if you have another game to play with friends. I mean, speaking of, I just recently got myself a Nintendo Switch, finally, only because there's literally no Oculus Quest available in this country or even on Amazon. So
well, they just started. This isn't really a big news thing, but they restarted selling the Quest 2 now. Remember, it got stopped because they were recalling because of the eye irritations from the padding or whatever. So
yeah, that makes sense, because I could only find the accessories. I couldn't find the actual Quest.
Like literally today is when they started reselling Quest 2s.
Damn. Yeah. So yeah, I got myself a Switch, and I literally, two of the games I bought for the Switch, I literally only bought them for the sake of couch co-op, you know? Like I don't play them every day. I'm only going to play them when people are over. And for some people, maybe that's Halo. Maybe that's the Halo co-op.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where Halo co-op was like the number one thing I just wanted to play all the time, you know? around that Halo 1, Halo 2 time was like Halo co-op. I mean, I remember I played the first game in co-op with my friends. I mean, I must have beat it like, I don't know how many times, like 7, 8 times or whatever, just because we're like, let's play. Let's go through co-op.
Even Halo 4 had a good co-op, you know what I mean? And Halo 5 as well. It's just something that's always continued. You know, you could always look forward to playing it with your friends, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah. All right. You know, as far this next one, I did have time to play was, and I haven't finished it yet, is 12 minutes. The
Dude,
game.
talk about heavy. Yeah, I played a bit of that too.
Okay.
Damn.
That's from Annapurna Interactive. It's very much it's a point and click adventure. Well, it's not even an adventure. Point and click mystery puzzle game.
Yeah.
I'm just.
It's straight up a point and click game, which I think
Yes.
is they should have advertised it that way. I was not expecting that. I don't mind point and click games, but it's also very weird playing a point and click game with a controller.
Well, that's why I'm using my
you know
mouse.
what I mean?
That's why I'm using my mouse.
Yeah, like it's so odd. Then again, I suppose if you're playing it on console, is it on console?
Yeah, it's on console and I got it on the PC Game Pass.
Yeah, I also got it on Game Pass. I was first of all just really like great voice acting. It's
Yeah.
intense. It grabs your attention right away, and kind of like within the first couple of minutes, you're like, oh, I see where this is going, or I know what I'm doing. But it's still kind of difficult. Like I couldn't get too far. It's a little, I don't know, maybe my brain wasn't working that day. But like I love puzzle games, but I really like. I was getting kind of stuck on this one. But a great game, and it's well received.
Yeah, it's pretty well received. I think the only complaints are that because of the nature of the game, because it is a time loop, that it does get repetitive. I mean, instead of repetitive gameplay, if you get stuck in
that's what I'm saying. If you get stuck, it's annoying. Like, because you're just reliving the same 12 minutes over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, like you kind of have to redo the same stuff over and over. And so I've gotten to a certain point. I don't want to spoil anything, but I've gotten to a certain point where it's like, okay, now what's next? And then when I don't figure it out and I got to start over, I got to do a bunch of stuff just to get back to that one point again.
Yeah.
And then try and figure out and then I get, a minute or two to figure out what I'm supposed to do. And if I don't do it, then it stops. I got to restart again. So
I kind of like that about it. It reminds me of like the old school games where it's like you got to go through the process. You know, there's no saving. You just got to go through it all. That's just that's just the way it is.
Yeah. But I enjoy it. I mean, you spoke about the voice acting, James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe are the three main.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe he's such an iconic voice. I feel like with Willem Dafoe, I love Willem Dafoe, but especially because I do a lot of voice acting myself, and I'm so jealous of Willem Dafoe because he's got one of those voices where you actually don't even have. He does do an amazing job acting in this, but he has such an iconic voice where he doesn't even have to act. His voice has just got so much natural character to it. He can just read, and it'll be better than most people. It's really good. Speaking of, I think this was like old news. I remember reading about this a while ago, but it's now recently made the tables again because of James McAvoy talking about it. But apparently James McAvoy had an obsession with the Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Yes.
He was obsessed with Oblivion, so much so that he thought he was addicted to the game. So he literally took the game and he put it in the microwave or he put it on the stove top or something. The stove, yeah, and he like melted the game. Not all the way to like a singe, but just to the point where obviously it'll never work again. And he was like, "There we go, we're done. No more Oblivion."
So seems like my old roommate, long time ago roommate, that he was obsessed with Morrowind, and I didn't get it because I wasn't at that time. I wasn't, into the whole Elder Scrolls thing, or at that time, I think Fallout 3 hadn't been created yet. Only Fallout 1 and 2.
Fallout. It was still the old school 2D Fallouts. Yeah.
And the graphics are so bad, back then, because
Morrowind was the first full 3D kind of game for the Elder Scrolls series as well.
Yeah, and so I kind of paid it no mind, and then of course later that same kind of game mechanic I became obsessed with as well, with Fallout and then Skyrim and whatnot. But at first I was like, man, this graphics crappy, not realizing it's because it's an open world, and you have to do so much.
There was so much resources they could only do that. It was also like quite a wonky world if you think about it. Like even in terms of open world games, like the landscapes were quite wonky. Like I don't know if wonky is the right phrase, but they were out there. They didn't look natural.
Yeah, I mean,
great game though. Yeah, great game.
It's the same era as Halo 1. It was on the Xbox, and he was playing it. And it was like, yeah, but you could see the big difference between the graphics between Halo 1.
I knew people who were addicted to Oblivion, and I mean like missed out on school days in high school playing Oblivion, So I completely get how someone can be addicted to Morrowind as well. The first time anybody ever plays like their first real big boy RPG, you kind of just get like sucked into that world, It's difficult not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, 12 minutes. I think it's good. There's some criticism. Like I say, it's not like a game. You know what I mean? It's not like It's a puzzle game, right? With a story.
It's a puzzle. Exactly. It's once again like it's an experience, and I think of Death Stranding, and the reason I think of Death Stranding, even though it's very different, is just like. It's a narrative, like it's a narrative experience, slash point and click game. Speaking of, Hideo Kojima says he played the game and it actually made him want to make his own adventure game again. Like it inspired him. He says he's like, I want to make these kinds of like narrative adventure games again. And I was like, okay,
cool.
That was cool to come out. But yeah, definitely try play it. Like the game's not that expensive either. If you have Game Pass, obviously it's on there.
Yeah.
But if not, it's cheap otherwise. It's one of those games where I'm sure I haven't finished it yet, but neither of you. But I'm sure once you finish it, you're probably never gonna pick it up again.
Yeah,
which is why it's a bit cheaper to pay for.
Yeah, it's It's $24.99 here in the U.S. and then obviously if you have Game Pass,
I think it's a bit cheaper here. I think it's like $20 or less here.
Oh. There was like a little report on Hades, how it's
the #1 rated game on console right now.
Well, it's also it's sold a ton not a ton, but sold way more on Sony than Xbox. It's like, of course, if it's free on Game Pass for people to play, they're not going to
of course
buy it. So it was kind of a
well, it's the highest rated game on PlayStation currently on the PS5. It's the highest rated game on the PS5, which is like, I guess, there's not that many games on the PS5 currently, that aren't on PS4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, this next one is interesting, which is Epic Games. Basically, through their legal battle with Apple, a lot of info has come out about business practices and whatnot, and one of them showed that Epic had offered Sony $200 million to get Sony to put at least four first-party titles to the PC. I would assume these would be exclusive just to the Epic Store.
Yeah.
And feel like.
Well, for me, the sad news here, I mean, besides the fact that it's like, ooh, wow, okay, $200 million, but I don't care about that. The reason that I care about this is that it's past tense, as offered, as in it didn't go through, which I really like. I would have put money on the fact that Epic and Sony would have teamed up to be able to bring PlayStation games to PC. I really would have put money on that. But if the fact that if they're saying offered, then obviously that didn't happen. But didn't Sony get a huge stake in Epic as well recently? Like
I think so.
They bought a huge stake into Epic as well, so who knows? Maybe that was the old deal and they didn't go for it. I suppose it was a bad deal. Maybe it's still something that's going to happen, but they're just working on the right deal. Who knows?
Not sure, but I mean, right now the first-party PlayStation games are available on Steam and on Epic, so they're just they know Steam is the amount of money they can sell on both platforms is more than $200 million. I mean, I know $200 million sounds like a lot, but I don't think they're gonna really.
I mean, a triple A game can make that in like a year, you know?
Yeah.
Like one triple A game can make that in a year. So it's
I don't think it's
I
worth
yeah,
it to them. 200 million isn't worth it to Sony to put it to limit the places that people can buy the game on PC. They figure, oh, if we have it on Steam, then even with that 30% cut that Steam takes, they're still gonna make, more than enough
yeah, well,
money. Because remember, there's 200 million for 4 to 6 titles. Like it's a lot of titles.
that is, yeah. I mean, look, one of them was definitely God of War. Like like definitely, you know what I mean? At the time as well, this is about 2 years ago. No, not 2 years ago. Sorry, a year ago, year and a half ago. Time flies. But yeah, at the time of this of that deal, God of War must have been one of them, which I think God of War would have been worth at least half that money, in terms of PC sales.
Yeah, they
Could be
also
wrong,
they
but yeah.
also were trying to get Microsoft and Nintendo as well, but they knew Nintendo, they knew under the notes, they knew that was like because Nintendo was so closed off.
Yeah, it was highly improbable.
Yeah. The Microsoft one, they just said it was harder to do because they already had Game Pass, and it was like they said it was against what they were doing, so their Game Pass is kind of against what Epic and Steam are doing. So
True,
just,
yeah,
just
because they're selling games. They're not
yeah,
in the subscription service
yeah,
industry.
yeah.
Damn. I know I don't know if we're changing topics just yet, but like the the 10th anniversary edition for Skyrim.
Yeah, we're changing
Why?
topics. Yeah,
Why?
it's gonna
Why?
be available for PS5, which is interesting because remember, Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft. I assume this was something that was in the works for a long time, and why
Yeah.
lose money? You can make like this isn't really gonna drive people to get Game Pass anyways. So why not just sell it on competitors' platform? Because no one's going like, oh, Skyrim, the 10th anniversary edition is only on Xbox. I'm gonna get an Xbox. It's just more.
Exactly.
You're a super
Yeah.
fan, you just get it anyways. I assume this will probably come to Game Pass at some point.
I mean, you have to be a super fan to get this because why else would you get it? You know, here's the thing though, if you're a super fan, you already own the game. Why are you getting the game again?
I don't know.
It's just
I probably will
it
download it
includes-
once it comes on Game Pass.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's just Skyrim Special Edition. Like on PC, it's not going to make any difference for us. It's not like
No.
it's upscaled. It's just it's already on Game Pass, special Skyrim Special Edition, and then it comes with 500 Creator Club points, which is, in my opinion, useless because Skyrim has mod support. So anything that you could buy with that in-game currency on their Creation Club, be it like new cool types of hammers or whatever, you can literally mod into the game for free. I don't get it. I don't hate on it. I love Skyrim. Skyrim has been hours and hours of the best time of my life, but I just don't understand the need to release the game again. I don't.
Well, speaking of mod support, this is a side news thing. Did you hear that the main guy that was doing the mod for
I heard about this.
Fallout London got hired by Bethesda as a
Yeah.
as a quest designer? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Didn't think it was gonna make the cut, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Skyrim is back again.
Back on your
I-
Samsung refrigerator.
Yeah, but they're literally there's no updates, there's no upgrades, there's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would hope they remaster at some point, right? I'm hoping
Like,
for a Fallout
yeah.
3 remaster at some point.
Because the special edition they did give us slightly better textures compared to the normal version. There is slightly better textures and there's more fauna, more NPCs. I think more in general. Which was the same with GTA when it went from PS3 to PS4. They just added more NPCs and more animals and more because they could handle more.
Mm-hmm.
It was that kind of case.
All right. This is my last thing. It's not a big thing. It's Microsoft announced a new Xbox stereo headset. Basically, they had one released last year, which was the $90 wireless one, which was pretty well received. They said for $100, it's not the best headset in the world, but for the price, it's pretty good. And so they're like, well, if you can't afford the $100 wireless one, here's a wired one for $60.
Yeah.
So.
So now they've got the it's just the new version of it, right? They've still got
They still have the wireless. Yeah,
one.
yeah. For 100. This is just.
This is the wired. Oh, I see. Okay, this is the wired one
wired.
for 60. This is pretty good for $60 though, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wish
This
they
is
had it out
pretty-
before I bought. I think I bought like a. What was it? Is it Turtle Beach one, or I forgot who it was that was like $60 or $70, and it was definitely not as nice as this one. So.
Yeah, same. I bought myself. I don't hate Turtle Beach. I enjoyed them, but they are not built to last. Most
No.
of Turtle Beach's products, they're not like they work well, but they don't last. Like, you know what I mean? After a year, it's pretty scuffed. Like things will start peeling off of it and stuff. But these look great for $60. Holy crap. I feel bad. People obviously aren't seeing what we're seeing, but hey, if you guys are curious, look it up. The Xbox stereo headset, the wired version, it's $60, and it looks like a really good headset actually for $60.
Yeah. All right. It's not available yet. It says September 21st. So.
Man, I wish PlayStation did that because PlayStation's also got a very, very good wireless $100 headset. I think with the PS5 it became the 3D sound headset or whatever. I wish they did a wired version of that was cheaper because the headset is so comfortable. I just can't justify paying that much money for a head, especially when I'm using literal studio headphones right now. Like I have my nice headphones, but for console gaming, those things are sweet.
All right. That's all I have. What do you have?
Oh, I mean, well, first things first, what I'm excited about is Quake, man. Dude, they got the Quake remaster. It is on Game Pass. It is out. I've been playing it. It is amazing. They also added Quake 2 and Quake 3 Arena. Those haven't been remastered. Those are still just same as the old school game. But yeah, they have revitalized Quake, I think up to 4K as well. I could be wrong about that. Could be right about that. But yeah, Quake. It's been a lot of hype around my friend circles because a lot of if you were a PC gamer in the late 90s, early 2000s, you played Quake. You know what I mean? It's just something you did. I loved Quake. Still love Quake. I played it. A lot of fun. So that's out at the moment right now on Game Pass, which is great. It's on PC and console, which is cool because I wasn't expecting them to do it on console as well. But yeah, PC and console. I guess we kind of just missed this last week, but within like the past week and a half, they were talking about the new Call of Duty. There's been a lot of like announcements for the new Call of Duty Vanguard. I don't really know too much about it so far, but we got details on the campaign and multiplayer. Like quite a lot of stuff. Like it's a bit too much to like go into right now. A lot of story stuff about like Sergeant Arthur Wingsley, Lieutenant Polina Petrova, Captain Wade Jackson, and Second Lieutenant Lucas Riggs. It like goes into it's about these four protagonists mainly. But yeah, I haven't. The thing is though, like even though we're reading about this, I haven't heard any hype about it. I don't know anybody who's talking about this Call of Duty Vanguard thing.
Yeah.
And then this is more exciting. This is just we haven't spoken about it in a while, and like I've known about this for a while, and I just didn't think it was going to get as popular as it is. But Splitgate got really popular.
Yeah.
Splitgate is it's a free to play multiplayer game. It's basically like Unreal Tournament, but with Portal. Because you got a portal gun, or is it? I don't know. It's either more like Call of Duty with a portal, or it's Unreal. Either way, it's an FPS game with a portal gun. You know what I mean? So it's for me like the very concept alone hurts my brain, but people are loving it. The open beta came out, and apparently they're now keeping the open beta open because of how popular the game is. They were planning on just having it open for a bit testing the game out, closing it, fixing it up. But they have so many active players right now that they're going to keep the open beta going, which I think is very smart for them. But yeah, it was I forget the amount of players that they were. Yeah, more than 10 million users downloaded the game in less than 30 days. More than 10 million downloads in less than 30 days. That's insane. Uh, yeah, I should definitely try out the game again. Last time I tried it, it gave me a bit of a headache. But yeah, so it's worth talking about. If you are a PC gamer, if you like FPS games, check out Splitgate. Free to play, open beta still going. Yeah, people are loving it.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's TV related. Um,
Oh,
I didn't know about this.
non-TV or non-video game related. I watched Shang-Chi last week.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, man.
Pretty awesome.
It's not out here yet.
No, I mean
at all.
it's not out here yet either. It's out in I think a week and a half. So.
I mean, even
I'm
then,
gonna
we'll
go.
get it we get it like a week later for some
Okay.
reason. Like even Free Guy just came out like 2 or 3 days ago here,
Okay.
and I think it's been out for a while. I think it's been out for like a week a week and a week and a half.
A week
out
and a
there or
half.
something.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
haven't
we
seen
only
it
got
yet.
it
I'm
like
gonna
2 or
try
3
and
days
see it.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's got a lot of cameos of YouTubers and gamers. I know Ninja's in it. Jacksepticeye. Apparently, he voices a potato, which I love because he's an Irish YouTuber. So of course he's a potato. Um, but yeah, oh man, I'm excited for that. You got like, oh, that's all I can think about now. It's funny because I was talking about the Eternals trailer, but
Mm-hmm.
we're not talking about that. So here's something that's interesting, and it's actually like this isn't even like recent news, but I did some digging as well, and like there are so many game companies that never get paid, dude. Like I never knew that. Speaking of there's an Outriders dev who doesn't know how many copies have been sold, and he hasn't earned any royalties yet,
Yeah.
which is insane. And then, which led me down the path of looking up another game, one of my favorite games, The Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yes.
Apparently, only this year did they like pay off like the last payments to the dev team. And that game came out like when Skyrim came out, like in 2011, I think. Yeah. The game came out like 10 years ago, and they only now paid off the like.
Well,
the
there was a
remainder of
whole
the
big
devs.
scandal with that with Kurt Schilling. It was his game
And apparently,
company.
it's not even a fraction of the money that they're owed. Like they only got like paid a bit, which is crazy. Oh man, like I never knew how many people in this industry just never got paid or never gets paid.
Yeah.
That's crazy. This is a small update, which is something that makes sense. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is getting a 60 FPS mode for PS5 and Xbox Series X. I bring it up because I have played Valhalla and I still prefer Odyssey personally. I think I just like the open world more. I think the world is visually more beautiful. And I like the combat with the boats. They took that away in Valhalla. You don't have the naval combat. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's a great game. It's on sale right now, I believe, on Epic and Steam. So definitely check it out if you haven't. But yeah, it's getting 60 FPS for PS5. Man, I'm so excited. I was so happy about this, but I couldn't get it because it got shut down. But some guy managed to remake the Simpsons Hit and Run, which is my favorite Simpsons game of all time. It was basically the Simpsons. It was like a GTA parody kind of game.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's right.
Like I think
right, I
Grand Theft
remember that.
Auto, San Andreas, or Vice City had just come out, and then the Simpsons did their own version of it called Hit and Run. And fans have been wanting a remake for years, and I mean literally like years. And with every single year that passes, most fans realize it's never going to happen because of, well, PC culture. I played the game recently using an emulator, and I remember that game fondly, but yeah, half of that game can't happen today. And like literally half the lines. I mean, half the characters in the game have already been cancelled. Like, I mean, Apu's in the game. You can't. Apu's not. He's not even in the show anymore. You know. Like, as far as I know, they've. So, anyways, some guy made it in Unreal Engine, and it's super impressive. It actually even impressed the original designer. It even impressed the original designer. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a copy of it because the YouTuber who created this, he shut down all the copies out there before any legal issues could arise, which is smart, you know. but it looks like he recreated from the YouTube video I was seeing. He recreated the first area, and it looks so crisp and clean. And I would just have loved, man, I really would love a remake of that game. It's just never gonna happen because of it can't.
Yeah.
Then on a more serious note, this is like gaming related because it's Twitch related. There's been an incredibly big problem going on in Twitch lately, which is that there's been a lot of hate raids and like racism hate raids where you'll have a lot of people streaming or gaming, well, I mean, gaming, streaming, whatever they're doing on Twitch. And then the bots will just come into their chat and just start spamming the N word or different variations of the N word. Because as you can imagine, you can just, in your chat, you can ban the N word so no one can say the N word. The problem is there's so many different fonts out there. Yeah. Like a YouTuber made a case where he used the term nagger. I think it was jogger. Sorry, he used the term jogger. And he said he ran a script and he made a bot or whatever that was able to formulate more than like a couple 100,000 different versions of the word jogger just using different fonts and like different letters from different alphabets across the world. So and they all look like they clearly say jogger. You know what I mean? So it's not as easy as just banning the word, the N word. You can't just ban the N word because there's so many ways to get around it is the problem. So people want Twitch to make a difference because it's not looking good. Like there's so many streams where I've seen just walls of text just saying the N word or worse. You know what I mean? So everyone's planning a boycott for Twitch raids on September 1st. Whether you're a streamer or whether you are a viewer, everyone's just going to boycott Twitch for that day, September 1st. So September 1st, everyone's planning a big boycott. It's mainly minority streamers, so they're trying to get some of the bigger streamers involved and stuff like that. But even the viewers themselves are planning on boycotting it that day because Twitch will listen to numbers, And if enough people don't use Twitch that day, I'm sure Twitch will be like, uh-oh. They'll see the problem and hopefully they can fix it. But once again, it's also one of those things where it's a technical thing of like, I don't know how you would fix the problem, It's like when the guy put out the clip that showed, like, look at how easy it is to run a script to make like literally hundreds and thousands of different versions of the same word using different letters of the alphabet and different like fonts and I don't know how you fight the problem. Hopefully they figure out a way though. One thing's for certain, it needs more traction. Yeah. Other than that, that's about all the news I've got. Oh, you know what? Now that I've managed to play Pokemon Unite because I've got a Nintendo Switch, I have been loving it. It's been really cool. It's coming out to mobile soon.
Well, now that one of us has a Nintendo Switch, now
I can review some Nintendo games.
Yeah, and you can talk about Nintendo stuff, and then some people can.
Well, hey, you know what? If anybody that likes Nintendo is watching or listening, we didn't bring it up, but yes, Nintendo WarioWare is coming out. They dropped a demo unexpectedly a few days ago. So if you have a Switch, you can try out the demo and maybe pre-order the game if you want to. WarioWare, loads of fun. I tried it out. And then we also have 3 new Pokemon games coming out. 2 are remakes. 2 are remakes of remakes, I believe. I could be wrong, but it's like it's nice because it's so updated. It's basically a whole new game. And then they're doing Pokemon Arceus, I think, which is like it's kind of like an open world Pokemon game, but that's looking pretty good. Yeah, and I played Monster Hunter Rise recently, which was the Monster Hunter that came out on Nintendo, which is something I never thought I'd have the opportunity to play because it's not on PC or console. It's only on Nintendo, as far as I know. And it's a fantastic Monster Hunter game. Really is. So good.
I've never played a Monster Hunter game in my life, but I know it's like a big thing.
I highly recommend. If you've never played any of them, one of the best games to jump off on is Monster Hunter World, which is the last one that they released for console and PC. Right now I think it's on sale on PC for like 200 and something bucks on Steam.
200 something bucks.
Sorry, 200 and something rand. Which is like it's got to be like $17 or something, you know. Sorry, my bad.
I was like $200.
Currency is different. Look, $200 over here is nothing. All right, $200 is like $12, I think.
All right, cool. Is there anything else?
No, that's about all I've got. Yeah.
What have you been playing? Obviously, you played 12 minutes, like I did.
Yeah, I played a bit of that, which was quite intense. Got stuck, rage quitted, plan to get back into it. I haven't
Let's
been
let's talk about it after this after we're done, because I just want to see how far both of us are.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're further than me because
Okay.
I got so frustrated, like at the point and click system as well. But yeah, it's a good game. But other than that, I've mainly been playing the Pokemon Unite just because I like a good MOBA. Been playing Valorant as usual, Monster Hunter Rise, and then oddly enough, Pokemon. Because why not? I've got a Nintendo, may as well. I've been playing Pokemon, and
You didn't
it's
get
been
Animal
very
Crossing yet?
calming.
You didn't get Animal
I'm
Crossing yet?
going to soon
Okay.
because like it's Dennis, I can't tell you how much like relief this Nintendo Switch has brought me. Like it really is just nice being able to have like a handheld gaming system that's there, and you can and almost all the games on it are designed to be like carefree. You know, that's what I like about it.
All right. Okay. That's it for this week. Thanks everyone for watching or listening. And you can make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. We also have a podcast that's going to be, you can find it on Spotify or on anchor.fm. You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram, dennis.tzng. And Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch at Josh_Toki, where I stream Valorant. And yeah, give us a follow on Spotify.
Cool. Until next time, see you guys later.
Later.